Hello, everyone. Welcome to Donna's Happy Hour. I am so excited because today I am at Father John's Animal House in Lafayette, New Jersey. I was last here back in, I believe, 2018, way before COVID, and pleasantly surprised that they are still up and running, and actually, even through COVID, they were able to find homes for the dogs and cats and kittens and puppies that were here. So without any further ado, as you can see, I don't have my cocktail with me, but grab your drinks, whatever they may be, because I'm hoping you'll spend the next hour with me. Garrett, I want to thank you so much for having us again, and so glad to hear that everybody fared pretty well through COVID.
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey, yes, it has, for everyone, I know. Unfortunately, we've lost people and lost even animals, and that is a point I wanted to ask you. Now, I know that you said that you and some of the staff did get the COVID virus.
Yeah.
What precautions did you, I mean, I know you were telling me you were always wearing masks and taking precautions. When you heard that possibly cats could get the virus, what did you do? Did you have to change anything different?
So it's interesting because it's a lot like what we see on the news and everything. The science is developing.
Right.
However, the coronavirus is something that we've seen in cats for years and years and years, just not this type of virus that we've now seen jump into human beings. But it is something that we've seen in cats forever and ever. So I know when studies were first coming out, they assumed cats could be susceptible to this virus that's now infecting people. So until the science was really there, we definitely took very stringent precautions. We took precautions for ourselves. Luckily, I was the only person from Father John's that actually ever tested positive, and I was infected from my immediate family and quarantined appropriately. So we and we took it very seriously because we have a caretaker who lives here on property, who does have pre-existing conditions. He's a diabetic. He's been a kidney transplant recipient and everything. So, and this is his home as well as the cats and dogs.
He has a real compromised system, right?
So we wanted to be very safe for the cats, ourselves, and of course Leon, our caretaker. So we did have a situation where we took in a cat from a known infected and deceased person. While the science was still very ambiguous.
Wow.
And we actually quarantined the cat that came out of that home. Once it came here, we were full PPE. We did actually donate quite a bit of PPE to local human-oriented organizations as well. But, you know, until we found out, well, hey, the risk might actually be much lower than we thought, we took very serious precautions.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's a scary, you know, because the data was changing so rapidly. As a matter of fact, when I went for my first COVID shot, at that time, I Googled whether or not I could take Advil or ibuprofen or any of those, because you knew you were going to get the sore arm, you knew you might get the low-grade fever and all of that. And at that point, they had said, yes, it was okay. So going back for my second shot, I decided to Google it again, and it has changed.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I found, you know, that's how they're learning and changing, and I said, well, of course, probably next month it'll be back to what it was the first month, but you know, you got to kind of roll with the punches with that. Well, you know, obviously, if you were the only person that had it here and managed to not spread it, you guys were really taking the precautions that you needed, because we know how contagious it was.
Yeah, we definitely have been, you know, since the early days, we limited the amount of foot traffic. We changed to an appointment only basis for adoption counseling. We have our volunteers coming in on a schedule, and we were very active. And if you don't feel good, you don't show up. That's
Right.
and that's really what saved us.
And you know, the other thing that's so important for people to realize, and especially now with it being allergy season, you know, people will sit there and go, you know, they're sniffling and they're sneezing and they're coughing, and they'll go, oh, it's just my allergies. You cannot assume that.
Yeah.
You know, not now. You know, you have to take the precautions to make everybody safe.
Absolutely.
You know what I wanted to ask, when people come to adopt, you obviously have a form that they fill out.
Yep.
What are some of the questions that are on that form?
The first half of the form is really geared towards travel and exposure potential.
Okay.
Then it's symptom tracking. You know,
Okay.
so have you traveled outside of the state? Have you come in contact with anybody who's been known to be positive or experiencing symptoms related to the
Right.
coronavirus? And then personal questions about,
Okay.
do you have a fever? Do you have any of the following symptoms? Those sorts of things.
Oh, wow.
And most of our adoption counseling now is done prior over the phone
Okay.
and done outside. We do require that you wear masks while you're visiting.
Right.
Especially the dogs can be met outside. We have 2 play yards that they can play in. It's the
Right.
cats where you actually have to come in and interact with them in an indoor environment that we try to play very safe.
Right. And we will be going inside to show you the cats and the dogs and the puppies and the kittens and all that. And I will be wearing a mask at that time. You know, the one question I had is, when you do an interview, whether it be on the phone with the person, do you ask them, how do I want to word this? Many people, I think, make the mistake of not realizing what type of dog would really be good for them and their family, if they have a family, or even to take into consideration the age of the person. Do you ask those kind of questions?
Yes, and sometimes you have to broach a very interesting conversation very delicately. We do ask for the ages of the folks that live in the home.
Right.
And we consider ourselves matchmakers. So you may come in here saying, I really want an Australian Shepherd, or I really want a Husky.
Right.
And a lot of why you want that dog is because of how they look, their
Right.
appearance.
Right.
And so we really pride ourselves, our team here, especially the ladies that work in our kennel, getting to know you and getting to know your lifestyle, and then matching you to the personality and the behavior of the dog that we think is actually going to best serve you.
I think that is so smart, because it's true. You know, it's so important to match that person up to the right dog, or not cats so much, but you know, certainly the dogs, because you don't want them to wind up back here or wind
Exactly.
up somewhere else because they didn't really think through what you're saying. You know, that's, for instance, myself. Okay, I have always wanted I believe it's a Borzog.
A Borzoi?
Yeah,
The big ones.
Yeah, the big ones.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm only 5 feet. And I'm not a runner. You know, I don't jog. I don't do any of the activities that I think that sort of dog would need. And so that would be really not a very good match for me. It may be something that I want, but really it's just, common sense tells me it's not the right dog.
Now, see,
know?
you have common sense, but not everybody does.
That's true.
And where we see this the most is with the really young puppies.
Right.
You see a cute puppy and everybody wants to jump on board. You know, this is going to fit into my house. This is going to be amazing. I want this puppy.
Right.
It's a lot of work. It's like having a baby.
It is. It is. I have to tell you, you know, since I last saw you, My dog passed away.
Oh, no.
19 and a half years old.
Whoa.
What more can I ask for?
Yeah.
And I really would love another dog, but I'm doing the keeping myself in check, using my common sense and saying, at this stage, do I want to go down that road again? You're looking at one of the biggest animal lovers. I do have a cat, so that's a help. But it's not a dog, there's nothing to me like a dog. And I've had animals all my life. And my husband is saying, we probably shouldn't, we want to start traveling, we want to do this, we want to do that. Of course, COVID has a whole other program for us. But yeah, it's so important. So when you're looking for a dog or even a cat, because and I want to take back what I just said a few minutes ago, it's not so important with cats, but that's not true, because all different breeds of cats also have different personalities. And if you're looking for, let's say, a cat that just kind of wants to lay around, then you're probably not going to want to get one of the Oriental breeds. I mean, they're great, they're smart, but you have to know what you're getting into there again. So I just find it so interesting. So I'm glad that your staff is taking the time to ask the right questions, because it really is so important.
It's the most important.
The other thing I wanted to go over is, now Father John's has been here for 21 years now.
Yep.
So I'm going to guess you guys obviously are doing things right, because you don't get to live that long.
I guess it depends who you ask, but yeah, I like to think so.
You're doing things right. And the thing is that it is a nonprofit, correct?
Yep.
And so, any help, whether it be $5 or, whatever you can donate is a help. That means, $5, even though that would feed a cat or a kitten maybe 2 days, 3 days, it's better than no days. And
absolutely.
So tell me, if somebody wants to donate, who do they contact? Where do they send the check? How does that work?
We try to make it as convenient as possible. Because we're a fully private nonprofit, we could not be here without the support of everybody out there. So there's a couple of different ways people can contact us or donate. They can donate by sending a check, 50 Father John's Lane, Lafayette, New Jersey. Make it out to Father John's Animal House.
Okay.
The best thing to do is always visit our website, which is fatherjohns.org.
Okay.
We now accept donations directly through the website, but we also accept donations directly through Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Facebook is great. They make it very convenient. We get 100% of your donation. There's no processing fee or anything like that.
Wow, that's wonderful.
It's amazing. So you could just visit Father John's on Facebook and donate right there.
So Father John's has a Facebook page in and of itself. Just go to
Absolutely.
Father John's. And is it Father John's Animal
House?
Yep. Okay. All right. That's great to know.
Yeah.
And it's really great to know. That is one of the things when I go to donate, is that I like to see that all of my money is going towards that.
Yeah.
I don't want to see no 40, 60, that they're only getting 40 and God knows who else is getting 60. That's really so important.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you can tell us that has changed? Now, all right, so I'm gonna cut you off before you start that. Do you apply for grants? Do you have to go that route?
Yeah.
Is that a yearly thing that you have to do?
It depends on the foundation or specifically, what the programming is that we're looking to fund with the grant. But usually it is on an annual cycle. Most grants are on an annual cycle.
Annual cycle, wow. And is that a complicated thing to do?
It can be. Each
Okay.
foundation has different rules and guidelines as to how
Okay.
to apply or what sort of organizations they're looking to back
Okay.
financially,
Right.
what kind of programming they have. Some foundations like you to have like a mid-year check-in. Well, where's your program at since we've funded? And then you have
Right.
your annual report as well. How successful was your programming? How did
Oh,
you
wow.
use the funding and all that sort of thing?
Okay.
So it
Oh,
can
so
be a
they.
very difficult space to navigate.
Wow. And can they deny you from year to year?
Absolutely.
So there's no guarantee.
Most foundations in this area are organizations that are looking to fund a smaller nonprofit like Father John's is.
Okay.
They're family run.
Right.
So
Oh, wow. Okay.
they make up their own rules. There is
Okay.
no guidelines telling them you have to do this or whatever. So
Right.
each one is its own individual entity, making up whatever they feel is going to be the most impactful in the way that they want their money to be used and have the biggest impact it can.
Right.
So each
Right.
one is very different.
Wow. Wow. Now, and you don't have to answer this, but have you found, because you have a good track record, does that play a part as to, or make it any easier year by year to get the funding that you need or the grants that you need?
Well, thank you for saying we have a good track record. We definitely we take our work very seriously.
I know you
And
do.
we take our team very seriously. We believe that we are needed in the community that we sit, as there really is nothing else like Father John's.
Right.
Providing the services that we do to the community, it's not just adoption. We help the people on the other end that need to relinquish ownership of pets. We help counsel people over the phone and in person on how to maintain their pets in their home.
Right.
We help people get low-cost spay and neuter and vet care and give advice, behavioral advice, training advice. I mean, we are there for the pet owners of Sussex County. So I do appreciate
Wow.
you saying that, but I think our track record comes from the fact that we really take pride in what we do because we believe it's so needed.
Right.
So to answer your question, does it get any easier? No, I think complacency is the death of a nonprofit.
That's a good way to look at it. That's a very good way to look at it.
We never slow down,
Right,
ever.
right. Well, one of the things, and I try to hit a lot of nonprofit organizations, and as I said, I'm an animal lover, so
Undoubtedly.
I tend to I gravitate to the ones that are for animals. And I have found with Garrett, I love interviewing you because
Is it the mustache?
no, it has nothing to do. No, it actually is because you can tell that you're truly inspired and into what you're doing, and you're very articulate at explaining what you do and how you do it, and your staff does it. And a lot of times you don't get that clear cut, decisive kind of interview, which makes it easy for me.
That's why I'm here.
Anything that makes it easy for me, I love. But anyway, we are going to be touring and taking you inside, and I will be masking up for that. I hope through the mask, I think I was going to wear one, but I know I sound very muffled in it, so I might put on a different mask.
We have these paper masks.
That's what I have with me. I'm
Okay.
going to wear that.
Yeah.
Because the other one, I can barely breathe in it, and I know you can't hear me in it. I'm not one that projects real well. To my dilemma. Anyway, but before we go in, as you can see, I'm hoping that you can see the dog and the cat in front of me. This was not here when I was here the last time, and I'm going to turn this over to Garrett to explain where we're sitting.
Believe it or not, this was a awesome project because I was actually explaining to Clay, the gentleman behind the camera, when you were getting ready.
Uh-huh.
that this area that we're sitting in right now was just an overgrown pasture for years and years. And about 9 years ago, our caretaker decided to just start mowing it.
Oh, really?
And it has turned into the most beautifully green,
Unbelievable.
grassy pasture.
Unreal.
And for those that don't know, in the 40s, Father John's was a farm. This property was an agricultural research facility for Father John.
Okay.
He was the original person here. And nobody ever had a reason to come down and explore this area.
Right.
So we knew we wanted to give people a reason to come down here and enjoy the beauty. Like you and I were talking about the birds we have here on the property. The ecosystem is great. We take care of all the animals, not just the cats and dogs.
Right. Wow.
And so we had a gentleman in the local area who passed away, and he had no family to leave behind. And his lawyer said he was an avid animal lover.
Okay.
And she really wanted to contribute to Father John's, but wished that his name could go somewhere so that he could be remembered in some capacity. And it really prompted us to think, wow, we don't offer that for anybody. And we all know what it's like to go through pet loss like you just went through. And if somebody wanted to memorialize their pet at a place like Father John's, they should have that opportunity. And so this that we're sitting in now was inspired by him. His name was Liberato.
Wow.
He was known as Chris, but we call this Liberato's Memorial Garden. And through very many different people coming together and contributing different things towards this garden, we made these raised garden beds.
I love it.
And
they can come to my house anytime.
This was amazing. These guys were great. We had a local family that runs a quarry business donate all the stone.
Oh, wow.
And these walls were constructed by a great company, and a woman from the local area who's known in the gardening world donated her time and expertise to come in and help us decide what plants we were going to plant. And now people have the opportunity to have a stone placed in the center of the garden, memorializing a pet or a loved one. And now people have a reason to come and enjoy this end of our property. And we see folks, our volunteers, walking the dogs through here. People just come and sit and have their lunch down here now. And look, we're doing interviews down here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is lovely.
And it distracted us from the whole pandemic, by the way.
Oh,
because we were down here outside planting all these trees. As a team, it gave us a reason to come back together, to get outside. We obviously social distance, but we had to separate. And as a team, we hadn't all been together, and the garden brought us all back together, which was great.
Now, what about the little statues? Did anybody donate those? Or
yeah, one of our board members who has really taken a liking to this space showed up with these one day. And it's beautiful because they're at rest. The cat and the dog are at rest. And, you know, everybody in some way that's affiliated with Father John's has contributed time and energy to this garden. It's been great.
It looks beautiful, and I can only imagine once everything starts to bloom, it's going to be a beautiful place to really sit and visit and get to know the animal that you might be adopting. Lovely. It's just lovely. So let me, if I can you tell me now, I see this here, it says Larry, I don't know, am I allowed to say their names, or would I need to?
I would think it was okay.
You know, I'm not so sure. But now that's a plaque, obviously, from somebody that has passed.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about Sherlock.
Okay.
The stone that sits in the center here of our circle, memorial circle, was actually one of our board chair's beloved dogs. She, you know, Mrs. Peggy is just a phenomenal woman, avid animal lover, and Sherlock was her closest companion. He was like a collie mix rescue dog, obviously, and he passed away, and it definitely took a big piece of her along with it.
It takes a huge chunk out of your heart, you know. They really, like my dog, 19 and a half years.
That's ancient, by the way. That is old.
I know, and you know, and it does. You know, it leaves you, and that's why I'm like, so torn, you know, because I enjoyed every minute with that dog. And, but to think that I would have at this stage of my life another dog possibly living 19 years, you have to think, where are you going to be 19 years down the road?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's interesting because that's really what we dealt with in the beginning of the pandemic, too. I mean, March
right.
2020 was one of our highest adoption months in history.
Because of people passing away?
Well, no, I think what
Oh.
it was people, I'm home now. I'm going to be home.
Oh, interesting.
You know?
Oh,
And
wow.
I think then in April we saw the complete opposite. We had a huge plummet in people looking to adopt and wanting to adopt because I think the fear set in. Well, am I actually going to go back to work after all of this?
Right.
And you think about, here you are sitting here thinking, I want a dog, but I'm thinking 20 years down the line.
Right.
And we had people adopting in March, and we were hoping they were having that same forethought and thinking down the line.
Right.
Getting a pet is not something to make, you know, it's not a decision to make on a whim or an impulse.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You know, because one of the things that I find is that, you know, that sort of thing is a trauma to them.
Yes.
You know, if you think that they're not traumatized by leaving, let's say you had the dog for 5 years. That's a long time for a dog, you know. Maybe in human life it may not seem so long, but
that could be half of the dog's life.
exactly, that's right. So that's a very long time to give up an animal. And that's why it's so important to really think about the animal that you want to adopt. As I said, whether it be cat or dog, their personalities, are they a type of dog, for instance, like a golden retriever, or, you know, that's maybe after they come out of that puppy stage, they tend to be kind of mellow dogs, you know. All of that is so important.
I think the main thing is to put yourself aside. You know, I think when
Right.
we initially think about getting a pet, it's to fulfill something that we need. And we have to always remember that this is another living being that also has needs and has wants
has
and desires
feelings,
and has
and has
feelings.
feelings. Well, I have to tell you, I have a cat, and my cat is very demanding. And he wanted to be, when I had I had 2 dogs at the time. He wanted to be numero uno, even though I had my dogs way before him. He
That's a
wanted
cat.
to be numero uno. And I would love to get another cat, but I really don't know how he, or will he even tolerate another cat. Just because it's a cat,
And just because you want one doesn't
Exactly.
mean that your
He
cat is
wants
going to
one.
have the same desire. Absolutely.
That's exactly right. I don't think he will. You know, I think he still is going to want to be numero uno. And the one thing, I don't want to traumatize him, because he's no youngster anymore. He's
Yeah.
about 12 years old. And, you know, so to upset the apple cart, it's tough. And I have to think what's best for him, not best for me. And, you know.
So, or you could do what I do, which is have 4 dogs, 2 cats, 2 kids.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You do
They
have
just
an
fall in
animal
line.
house there.
Yes, yeah, we do. My wife's also obviously an animal lover, so it's fun.
Is so fun. That's the thing. You know, I used to have 3 dogs and 2 cats
Yeah.
and a horse. And now I'm down to 1 cat. And, you
But
know.
like you said, you and your husband, you've been having open conversations. Our
Yes.
life is changing.
Right.
How would a new dog fit into the life? How's our cat going
Right.
to take to it? And they're
Right.
complex decisions.
It is complex decisions, and as you know, and I have to tell you, and unfortunately this is another fact of life, is that as your dog ages, you have to expect that you're going to have to change things in the household. As a matter of fact, when my dog, you know, became hard of hearing,
Yeah.
his eyesight was going, and to take him out into the yard. Now this is really something. He couldn't judge like if there was a dip in the ground. And so he would stumble. And eventually what I wound up doing, because I didn't feel it was fair to him, you know, he was not enjoying going out and going to the bathroom outside. So I got, and if this is anybody that's going through this, they make these wonderful soft-sided octagon pens.
Yeah.
And the bottom of it zips out, and you can take it out and clean it. And the top is a mesh, and that unzips. Like really, it pretty much has lots of different ways to open it up. That was a lifesaver.
We house kittens in those all the time.
I'm telling you.
They're great.
They're relatively inexpensive. They're like $25. Best $25 I ever spent.
Life-changing.
And it is life-changing. And it was life-changing for my dog because he felt safe and secure.
Yeah.
And, you know, also what I recommend to do is I used to put the wee-wee pads down and just pick those up so I didn't have to constantly take out the bottom. But anyway, we're going to be going inside, and I'm really looking forward. And I know, I say I won't walk out of here with with an animal, but you never know. Anyway, Garrett, thank you again so much. And
thanks for coming back.
We'll head inside.
Awesome.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
great. Well, we're back, and I am out front of Father John's Animal House, and today I am going to be going on tour with Rihanna.
Yes.
Rihanna, which I had to remember because, you know, you hear Rihanna a lot. But anyway, Rihanna, thank you so much for joining us. So Rihanna is, do you care for all of the animals, or are you mainly the cat woman?
That's a great question. I am mainly the cat person. I have always worked with the cats. I now work on fostering kittens. But I do work with all of the animals because I'm the communications associate. So I end up often putting the animals online, taking them to events. So I do have a familiarity with all of our animals here.
Now, when you say events, what kind of events is that?
We have an event actually coming up called Tails and Trails. That's one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. It's
I'm just going to stop you.
Sure.
Where is Tails and Trails? And, you know, give us a little information about where it's going to be.
Yeah, it's a hybrid event. So it's going to be 3 days on our Facebook. We're going to be going live on Facebook and kind of telling stories from here. But then on May 1st, that's the big day, we're going to go to Camp Sacagawea in Sparta. It's on White Lake Road. It's maybe 2 or 3 minutes away from here at the shelter. And it's going to be a great dog walk. We're going to have vendors and things like that. So I'm doing a lot of work on that right now. That's one of the main things that I'm focused on.
Now, is that an event in hopes to find homes for these animals, or what is the purpose of that event?
It's a little bit of both fundraising and adoptions. So the main reason we're holding it is as a fundraiser event. We're going to have lots of sponsors. People will be able to, you know, donate to us. But we are also bringing our adoptable dogs there. So our kennel staff will be there. They'll be bringing some of our adoptable dogs so people can actually meet them in person.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what time will that take place?
On May 1st, the big day, that is from 12 noon until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And for the hybrid portion, the 3 days leading up to the event, it's going to be on Facebook Live at 3 o'clock p.m.
Now, you're saying hybrid, if I'm not mistaken. What do you mean by the hybrid?
Kind of like how schools have a hybrid learning model going on right now.
Okay.
Partially in person and partially online.
Okay, all right. I was trying to think, and I'm like, is she talking about like hybrid animals, you know? So that's why I wanted to clarify that. All right. Well, I am looking forward to, you know, because I am an animal lover. I have a cat, and I would love to find a buddy for my cat. I'm not so sure my cat will be so happy with that, but we're going to try. So, anyway, we are now inside Father John's animal house, and I can see here, obviously, to the right of me, that is the reception desk. And what exactly, when people come in, do they go right over to that or do they sit? How are you working that now with COVID?
Well, the way that things are working right now is that when people get here, we ask them to give us a call so that we can come out and meet them. This way, there's not too many people in the lobby, there's not too many people in the building. But when they do come in, they'll usually come and sit here or at the desk. They may need to fill out paperwork such as an adoption application if they haven't done so already. But this is where they'll first come to see Father John's.
And now behind me, what is this room here?
This is one of our free roam cat rooms. We're very lucky to have a lot of free roam cat rooms. In some shelters, they only have caged areas, and we do have one of those as well. But these rooms are so great because the cats can come out, they're able to roam around, and people can really see them as they feel most comfortable.
Now, are people able to actually go in these rooms with the cats?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Some rooms are staff only. We have an intake room where that would be staff only. But a room like this, an adopter can absolutely go in there with one of our staff members to meet the cats.
Great. As you can see, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got my handy dandy wipes, so I'm trying to be extra cautious for the staff here and for the animals. Now, over to my right here, there's also another room, which I can tell is for cats. What exactly differ? How do they differ?
So that is another free roam room, but the difference is the age. So we try to divide the cats up based on their age the best that we can. So these guys, first of all, they actually all came from the same home just a few days ago. There's about 8 of them. Oh, wow. So that's one reason why this room is for them, but also they're a little bit older than the cats in this room behind you. The cats in the room behind you are kind of like kittens. They're about a year and a half old. So they do differ in age.
And do you find that separating them by age, is that because, is it the older ones get a little ornery with the younger ones because they want to play and they roughhouse more?
That's a little bit of the reason, yes, but also because when adopters come in, they usually have an age range that they're willing to adopt. Some people are only interested in the very young ones. Some people have a soft spot for seniors. So when we mix them up, it can be a little bit harder for people to really focus on the ones that they were there to see.
Oh, interesting. All righty. And now, Garrett had told me that you have a person that stays and actually lives on the property, correct? Now, what about like a vet? Do you have a vet that specifically works with you and the animals?
Yes, so we have several veterinary technicians who are here. They're here every day, all day. They're giving medications. They're doing all kinds of vet tech stuff. But we also have 2 amazing veterinarians who donate their time. They come here, each of them comes here once a week to see the animals, to see them when they first come in, and really make sure that everyone's healthy.
All right, wonderful. Well, if possible, I'd love to see the cats and the kittens.
Yeah, let's go see them.
All right, let's do it. Here we go.
So today is actually a really big day. I don't know if Garrett told you.
No.
We have a lot of our animals are going to be spayed and neutered. So the neuter scooter, as they call it, came and picked them up this morning. Wow. So some of our friends may not be in here right now. I see Sweeney and McGee both have pink cards on their cages. So they are out getting spayed and neutered.
So now, any of the cats or even the dogs, kittens, they all get their shots. They also get spayed and neutered before they go to homes?
That's correct. Everyone's
Wow.
up to date on vaccinations,
Wow.
microchipped, and spayed or neutered.
Oh, and microchip. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing to know. Wow, that's important. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, great.
So let's see who is in here who can spend some time with us.
All right. Oh.
So
Oh, there's one. Okay. He
So
looks
we've been working with him to socialize him, to make him a little bit friendlier. But if you're
right.
looking for a cat who just wants to hang out,
That's
I mean,
the guy.
he's your guy.
Now, how old is he?
He, I believe, is about 2 years old.
Okay.
So actually, on his cage card, it shows their date of birth. He's actually about closer to 4 years old.
Okay. Oh, wow. And how long has he been here?
He has been here since February.
Since
so he's been here a few months.
What is the average turnover like for the animals that you have here? Like, what cat or dog has been here the longest?
That's a great question. Usually, an animal will be adopted within a year or so. It's always hard to tell. You know, the animals have different temperaments and things like that. Some are a little bit harder to adopt out than others, especially the shy ones, which is why we're always looking for people who are willing to, you know, exactly. It's so important. And meanwhile, there are some animals that fly out of here before we can actually post them online. Somebody comes in to look at a kitten and they go home that day.
Wow. So any of the cats and the dogs that you have here, they can go online. And do you have pictures of every single one of them online?
Not every single one. For example, the middle room that we were just looking at, they only came in a few days ago. Actually, just today, they've been marked as available for adoption in our system. So I'm going to take some pictures later on, and we can post them online. That's usually how people find our animals, but sometimes they come in to see one cat or dog, and they realize, oh, we're not really feeling it. This doesn't feel like the right fit for us, and they end up taking another animal that maybe we haven't even had time to put online yet, and they just happen to fall in love with, and it works out.
Now, that's something that I had talked with Garrett about was, do you, because you handle the cats the most, I would imagine, is from the way he told me, do you try to guide the person? Because I've had cats all my life, and I also, just like a dog, not every dog is for every person, and not every cat is for every person. Do you try to, as the person is here, talk with them and get a feel for where you might steer that person to what cat?
Oh, absolutely. Our cat adoption counselors are great. We've even seen it happen before where people will come in for one cat thinking that they want this cat for whatever reason. A common reason is it may look like a cat that they've had in the past that may have passed away. And obviously, like you just said, every cat's temperament is a little bit different. They may realize, oh, I like the way this cat looks, but its behavior isn't what I was expecting. And so our cat counselor will guide them and say, well, this cat may not be the best fit for you, but why don't you meet this other cat? They may be a better fit. Or they may even say, we may not have the right cat for you right now, but we'll give you a call in a little while, few maybe weeks or months, and we'll touch base and see if we have somebody who might be a better fit.
That's so smart and wonderful to do, because the last thing you want is for them to wind up back here or some other place. And that's what I had said to Garrett and to the audience, is that's really so important. And especially, if you're, let's say, looking for a pure breed, which I'm sure you get those as well. And every pure breed has a temperament and a disposition and of its own. And so to match yourself up is the best thing that you can do with the right animal, whether it be dog, cat, monkey. Anyway, well, I'm going to see if I can approach, what was his name? Petey. I'm going to see if Petey will say hi.
Give him a little finger to sniff at first.
Petey, I got a kitty cat too. Hi, baby. Hi. Yeah.
He really likes our receptionist.
Does he?
Does very well.
Oh, it's okay, Petey. Boop. He's like, no, you move too fast. Oh,
They were just playing with him a little while ago in here, so he might be a little bit.
yeah. Well, you know what? That's all right. And he was just letting me know, like, maybe not so just yet. That's okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate being able to come in here. The last time we were here, you had I would say at least 5 or more cats, which obviously are out getting spayed. Which I'm glad to hear because unfortunately, so many cats do not get spayed, and then it just creates a bigger problem. So, all right, well, let's move on to the next space. So we are now in the other cat room, and you said to me that all of these cats were from one family. So what had happened was the wife had passed away, and the husband felt he was just overwhelmed.
That's right. And that's something that happens very often with us. We recently had 2 other senior cats who have since been adopted, who came to us because the woman was disabled and her husband passed away, and she just couldn't take care of them anymore. So it's always a hard decision to make. But we're always here, whether it's 1 cat or 8 of them like this.
Now, in that particular case, did he keep any of the cats, or were there more cats in that family?
I'm not entirely sure. I heard originally he was supposed to bring us 9, so I'm not sure if there was some miscommunication or if he does still have one.
Let's hope he knows about it.
I know, right?
Well, as you can see, these are very friendly cats. They're all really love bugs. Oh, there's another one. Okay, so we found another one. This particular group of cats are from what, 5 years old to
About 10 years old.
10 years old. Okay. Now they just came in. So do you know if they have been spayed and neutered or any of?
They actually came to us spayed and neutered, which does happen sometimes. It's one last step for us. So they are available for adoption now because they came in spayed and neutered. They were seen by the vet. They're microchipped, so they're ready to be adopted.
So they've already been checked for any kind of possible viruses that they could pass on or any. Now, what do you do in cases of cats that have feline AIDS or any of the other unfortunate diseases that they can get?
We do have one room that is a cage room so that if a cat does have FIV, which we do have one actually, or any other reason why they shouldn't be around other cats, whether it's a special diet or they just don't get along with other cats, we do have a cage room for them, which we can take a look at next.
And do all of the cats, you test them to see what diseases they may have that aren't obviously apparent without blood work?
For that, I would have to ask the vet techs. I know that we do a lot of vetting, and our vets do see every animal before they're available for adoption. So I believe they do test for most things.
That's interesting. And this is just actually out of curiosity for myself. So when you have a cat that has feline AIDS, that is something that they can only contract through blood?
Yes.
If they were to get in a fight with the other cat or something like
It would
that.
have to be a deep wound that they would transfer that disease. So a cat with FIV could cohabitate with a cat without FIV as long as they get along and they don't fight.
And what about diseases, again, that you may not know that the cat has? For instance, people coming in, let's say they already have a cat at home, and then they want to adopt. Do they have to worry that they can bring something home to their own cat?
That's always a possibility. No matter how much testing we do, there's always a possibility of there being fleas, for example. Or there was actually a case recently where a woman adopted a cat from us. A few months went by and she called to say this cat has ringworm. And we had no idea. We had, done the testing that we do, and where it came from, we're not really sure. So is it possible that it came from us? Yes. Is it possible that the cat got it from somewhere else? Of course, it depends. what the cat is exposed to.
Right. Well, it also depends on if the cat goes in and out. If it's not an indoor cat, and then, yeah, it would be hard to, obviously then could get it from elsewhere.
Right,
Okay,
and there are
very
so many
interesting.
diseases cats can get from going outside. so-
Right, right. I have a cat, and I do not let my cat out. And it's, to me, it's just not worth the worrying. Number one, are they going to get in fights? Number two, are they going to get hit by a car? Number three, are they going to, ticks and fleas and everything else? It's a lot to consider when you're adopting, because those are all important things, especially if you plan to let your cat out. You have to think about, I know when I was a kid growing up, if I had a cat and they did go in and out, they were not indoor cats. It was like 3:00 in the morning and you'd hear the cat outside crying. So think about that. If you're looking to adopt a cat, you may want to not let that cat out, because they are going to be coming home at all hours.
Exactly. And like you mentioned before, the main concern is getting disease, getting hit by a car, like you said. There are unfortunately terrible people out there that would do terrible things that you don't even want to think about. Right. But the experts, the cat experts out there, big names, they all recommend keeping your cat indoors, so it just makes sense. Right.
I just, I knew I had gone through that when I was a kid. The cat doesn't come home, and it may not even be that they didn't get hit. Right. It could just be that they're out roaming about for several days. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is my first time ever actually doing this, even though I've owned kittens, and cats all my life. You have to say that it's definitely trickier than it looks. And I'm trying to do this as neatly and as quickly, because boy, they like to scoff this down. Oh, that's yummy, isn't it? Oh yeah. Am I giving you enough? Sorry, baby. Hold on. There we go. Oh, oh, whoop. Oh.
That's okay.
I guess it. Oh my goodness, look at you. Good job, sweetheart. Okay, ready for the next one? Okay, we got another one. So now they each get how many times a day?
They're fed every 2 to 3 hours, and they're fed about 6 milliliters of this kitten replacement milk each time.
Okay, hold on, sweetie. Let's do this. Yeah, let me put you down a little. Hold on. I'm trying to get her in a position where I think it would be comfortable. Good. There we go. There we go. That's it. I don't want to make a mess of you here. Hold on. I know. I guess I'm not feeding you fast enough, huh? Okay, let's go. Up, 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 up. Wait. Here, it's up here. This is tricky. Of course, I'm sure if I... All right, there we go. Oh, yeah. The trick, I guess, also is to do it consistent so that they're not scrambling, right? That's right. Or do they let you know that they've had enough by what? Just like not wanting to put it in their mouth anymore?
Yes, sometimes they will, but these guys are really good eaters, and they would just keep eating no matter what. So we usually feel their stomachs, the firmness of their stomachs, and see. But generally, once you feed them about 12 milliliters, that's usually pretty good for this size. She might be. Let's feel her little tummy.
It's pretty. Needs a little
more. She could go for a little bit more.
A little more? Okay. Here we go. Come on, sweetheart, over here. Here we go. Well, here. No.
She might just be too interested in exploring.
I think so. How about you want to get cleaned up? Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness. So, if you're looking for a kitten, please call Father John's. Again, they're in Lafayette, New Jersey. You can find them on Facebook, website, correct? And these are so healthy, these kittens, I have to tell you, and the animals are so well cared for. They really give them a lot of love, a lot of attention, and if there's any rehabilitation that any of the animals need, they do make sure that they get that prior to leaving Father John's, which is so important. But now I'm going to learn how to clean them up. So I just grab one of these. All right, let's see this. There we go. And I'm going to do your little face. Oh, yes. Now, do you have to worry about this getting in their eyes, or you're just mainly going under the chin and...
Mainly under the chin, just the way that the mother cat would groom them. Since they don't have a mother cat, we are their mom right now.
Now, the next thing that Rihanna did, which I guess I will attempt, is because they don't have a mommy and they're too young yet to really go to the bathroom on their own, they need to stimulate the kitten. So I'm going to try to do this here as gracefully as I can. And hopefully I don't wear it. So yeah, where you going? You gotta come on back. I don't know if I'm doing this right or wrong. How will I know?
Yeah,
Or
usually
you
just rub it like that, and
Okay.
You'll start to feel something warm.
Oh, oh, I do. Oh, yeah. Yes, yes.
That's it.
Okay. With us, as you can see, we have a new member, and this is Luke. And Luke has taken a real liking to Clay, my cameraman. Haven't you? You don't even care about the women. He's like, nope, I just want Clay. And Luke is obviously up for adoption. Very sweet dog, strong dog. And how old? Do you know how old Luke is?
We think he's about 6 years old.
Okay, all righty. And what was the reason that he wound up here?
So his owner was moving out of state down south and wasn't able to take him with him. And he actually took Luke to a doggy daycare. And before he moved and, said the plans, the doggy daycare person was trying to find him a home herself, and she was unsuccessful. So she brought him over to us.
Okay. How long has he been with you now?
Not very long, maybe 2 weeks at the most.
Oh, wow. Recent. So very recent. Well, I'm going to approach him and just show you that he really is a sweetheart. Luke. Hi. Hi. But he doesn't care about me. He just wants Clay. Yeah. And his former owner was a man, so obviously he seems to be more yeah.
He does get along with everyone, even little kids. The only thing is he doesn't know his own strength, so he might play with the kids and roughhouse, but he gets along with kids, seniors, everyone.
Right. You can tell he is a powerhouse. Today we were going to show you some of the puppies here, but unfortunately it is spay and neuter day and they are all out being done. So, well, I want to thank you so much for, again, spending time with us and introducing everybody to the animals that are here. Again, go to their website, and it's fatherjohns.org, or you can go on Facebook, and that is Father John's Animal House. All right. Again, thank you so much for your time. We wish the best for you, and we will be intermittently stopping by to see where things are at. All right. Thank you again. And everybody, have a wonderful week. Thank you.
It's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour. Come on, get happy now. It's Donna's happy hour. Come on, get happy now. It's Donna's happy hour. Come on, get happy now. It's Donna's happy hour. 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 It's Donna's happy hour.